Friends, welcome to Gyan Ganga, Words of Wisdom program by Virat Hindustan Sangam on our social media channels. And we have today starting another episode with Dr. Subramanian Swamy. And our guest today is Mr. K.K. Muhammed. Our topic is, was Babri Masjid built where earlier a Hindu Mandir stood? We have with us Mr. K.K. Calicut archaeologist and who was the regional director north of the Archaeological Survey of India and had served in various projects and been associated with various excavation work and museums and other related to the Archaeological Survey of India. He did his master's degree in history from the Aligarh Muslim University and has his postgraduate diploma in archaeology from the School of Archaeology, Survey of India, New Delhi. He has held various posts all over India, all connected with the excavation department, and he, especially in 1976-77, under Mr. B.B. Lal, he did extensive excavation work at the Ayodhya Babri Masjid Ram Janmabhoomi site and came to many findings and conclusions. Today's program, we will be having a discussion with him connected to that project. And I just want to also inform our viewers that Mr. K.K. Muhammed has written a book in Malayalam in which is titled Jnana Pinna Bharatiya. That means I am an Indian, which he has published few years ago. It is in Malayalam, I think English edition of the book is likely to be published soon. So with this, I request Dr. Swamy to start the discussion and welcome Mr. Muhammed to our show Gyan Ganga, Words of Wisdom. Dr. Swamy.
Muhammad Sahib, it's a great pleasure to welcome you here.
Thank you.
And I would say to all the people who are listening into this program that I remember as a petitioner in the matter. In fact, I got the date fixed. Otherwise, for 7 years there was not even any attempt to have a date fixed, and brought in this question of faith and fundamental rights, and that's what ultimately led to this clear-cut decision. But I was mighty impressed with an interview that you had given to the Times of India on October 1, 2019, about 1.5 months before the judgment came out. And you very clearly said in that there is no way for the Supreme Court, with all the material that's come on record, to give anything but a verdict in favor of Ram Mandir. And then you described the whole history of it. So I will take out of that interview some of the points which the public doesn't know. In fact, I'll say 1 or 2 points I didn't know also. So therefore, take it out and pose questions, about 5 or 6 questions to you, turn by turn. And after you finish answering one question, I'll go to the next question. So we are very pleased that you are here. There was a big demand for bringing you on the on board here, and that's why we contacted you, and you were very kind enough to agree to come. First is, as you have mentioned in your interview, and it's well known too, that there were 2 excavations. One was in 1976-77, in which you and which B.B. Lal.
Okay.
Sorry, viewers, there is some technical disturbance. We'll be setting it right. Please bear with us. Dr. Swamy will come back on the line. I think there is some
I'm just going to go right now, Pritesh.
storm in Delhi also, besides Kerala. So there is some disruption in our...
Yeah, the internet's not working there, Jagdish. Just 1 minute. 1 minute. I'm trying to bring him back on.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, his internet is down.
Okay. So we'll continue with the program. Mr. K.K. Muhammad, Dr. Swamy was just referring to the two excavations and your association with the first excavation of 1976-77. Dr. Swamy will definitely join us, but we would request you to please enlighten our viewers about this excavation and your impressions about the same.
Jagdish, just bear with me. He might be able to join now. Just bear with me.
Okay.
He's back online. Just bear with me.
Dr. Swamy is back. Dr. Swamy, please continue with your question.
With Ramesh around, I don't think, and Ashish around, I don't think anybody can, interfere with our broadcast for very long. Anyway, so let me get to the point. The point is that there were two excavations. The first one, which set the stage, so to speak. You are the key partner with BB Lal, and there you did find sufficient evidence that there was a temple below, and you concluded that way, and at least in your interview, you brought out all the things that were there. And the second was in 2003 on a direction of the Allahabad High Court, because the Supreme Court, based on what Nasimha Rao had said, that if we find that there was a pre-existing temple, we will give the land to the Hindus to build a temple. So the Supreme Court then told the Allahabad High Court, to which they had transferred all the Sessions Court cases, that you, while the hearing, find this out, whether there was a pre-existing Hindu temple. So that's why the second one took place, and you are well familiar with the what technology was used to come to a much more astounding conclusion. So you will tell us about it. You had said in your interview there are three issues. One is the archaeological issue, the second is the literary issue, and the third is the social issue. So my first question to you is, please tell us something about these investigations. What did you find? What convinced you that there was a pre-existing temple? And then these three issues, just briefly tell us what is the conclusion you based for these three issues. What's the answer you give on these three issues? Over to you, Mr. Muhammad.
Thank you so much, sir. And especially thank you for inviting me for this kind of dialogue. And I would like to make certain things very clear, because I was not the excavator. The excavation, during the first excavation, it was under Professor B.B. Lal. He's a great historian and great archaeologist also. And we call him Bhishma Pidamaha of Indian archaeology, because great service he has rendered. And now he is 100 years old.
Yes.
I worked under him because, there were other people also, and I was one of the members of the team. But my importance in that case was because I was the only one Muslim who had participated in that excavation. And the second excavation was under Dr. B.R. Mani. Again, Dr. B.R. Mani, he retired as the Joint Director General of Archaeological Survey of India, and also the Director General of National Museum. And again, a great archaeologist. I was not there in the second excavation. So in the first excavation in 1976-77, when we went to the site, we were just staying just in front of the temple, just in front, because there was a satra or a kind of inn. We were living there, and daily we will be going to the temple also. And also the excavation was going on at two places. One is the Ram Janam Bhumi, just behind the wall, because at that time it was not destroyed.
Yes.
So yeah, so it was just behind the wall. And the second was at Hanuman Gadi. These two were the two important the excavation at two places. The excavation was going on. So in the excavation, before doing the excavation, we have another formality which is known as exploration. Exploration means just going around, seeing things, and then contextualize the excavation. So during that process, we had gone to the masjid also. At that time it was Babri Masjid. And of course, the puja was going on outside. The inside portion that was locked, and there was a policeman also there. But we requested him that we are from Archaeological Survey of India and we have come for the excavation. So he allowed us inside. So when I went inside, I saw the temple pillars and 12 pillars. It was very obvious because it was made of Hindu temple pillars. It was very obvious. And you may ask, what is the main? I mean, how do you recognize it is a temple pillar or a masjid pillar? In temple pillars of 11th and 12th century, you will be having that Purna Kalasha. It is a symbol of prosperity in Hinduism. And it is one of the Ashtamangala Chinnas, that is 8 auspicious symbols in Hinduism. Even now, if we are receiving any great Swamis, like Kanjipuram Swami or any other great Swami, we don't accept, we don't receive him with a shawl. It will be not with a garland also. It will be only with a Purna Kumbha, Purna Kalasha, Mangala Kalasha. It would be like that. So this was engraved there. Purnamada, Purnamidam, Purnamadacha, Purnamudachyate. So that is there. So, and then there were some kind of sculptures also inside this mosque. So it was very obvious. If anybody has got any doubt about it, they can go to Qutub Minar area. Just by the side of Qutub Minar, there is a Quwwatul Islam Masjid, where there is an inscription also that temples have been destroyed, 27 temples have been destroyed. So, and even now there are number of sculptures embedded into that one. It is very obvious. Anybody can go and see. More than 50 would be there, I think. Ganesha is there, Brahma is there, Vishnu is there, many gods and goddesses. So certain things have happened in Indian history, of course. We should accept it. But for that, today's Muslim community is not responsible for that. That also we should make it very clear. I'm not an extreme Hindu group, or I don't belong to the extreme Muslim group, nor the extreme communist group. But at the same time, Muslims should realize that they become responsible the moment they say, the moment they try to justify it. Some of them they'll say, they try to justify, no, that is because it's not because of the religious feeling, it was because of the economic activity, because there were certain lot of things they wanted to loot, this thing, that. This is how the communist historian start justifying it, and Muslims become a willing cooperators of it, and they become part and parcel of it. So their Muslims are responsible for it. So I saw it, and then the excavation was carried out. So when the excavation was carried out, we could get the brick bases on which the pillars stood. One was the pillars inside, itself inside, and the second was the pillar, the brick bases on which the pillars stood. So it was very evident. Sculptures, that Hindu sculptures, were also there inside, and then a number of terracotta images and sculptures started coming out. Had it been a Muslim mosque, there would never have been any kind of sculptures of this kind. So it was obvious. But that was in 1976 and 77. It was not an issue. But the communist historian, they came out for the first time in the press, saying that excavation was carried out by Professor B.B. Lal, and he could not get anything by which it can be said that there was a earlier temple there. That is so.
Communist.
Yes, communist historians. Mostly Romila Thapar was there.
Irfan
was there. Yes, Irfan Habib, and the whole group of people, they were there. And Professor Lal is a different kind of man. He now he has to defend himself. So he defended, but he had to get some more support. That time I was working in Madras. I was in Archaeological Survey of India. I was a deputy superintending archaeologist. So I saw this one, that the thing is going on. So I wrote a letter to I. Mahadevan, who is an eminent archaeologist also.
IAS officer.
Yes. And he wrote a a small piece in time in Indian Express saying that one group says that there was no temple and another group says there is a temple. Then why can't we conduct one more excavation?
Yes.
And that was perfectly all. And then he said one more thing. Okay, one historic wrong have taken place long back. But for that, I mean, destroying a temple, I mean, a historic monument, that is not proper. That was his, again, a very balanced one. For writing a historical wrong, one should not again repeat a mistake. That was his contention. And I liked it very much. I simply wrote him a personal letter. And I said that I was the only Muslim who had participated in that excavation. And I can also for it, for the authenticity of it. So the next day he came to my room because I was in Fort St. George at that time. He came and he said that, I mean, it should be published. But for me, because I'm a government servant, I just cannot publish it like that one without taking, and the government will never give the permission also. It was very my probation period was also not over. So it is very doubly, it was dangerous for me. But I felt that as a Muslim, it's my national duty that I should come out, even though my probation period was not over. Because if the probation period is not over, even without serving a show cause notice, they can just terminate my job.
Without reason. Without reason.
Without assigning any reason. So I just take a calculated this one decision and then got it published. And in the Indian Express, they published it in almost all the editions of it on 15th of December, 1990. And these people went on again on a publication spree, but they could not reply for this letter which I had written because there was no reply for this one. And then we all know that the second decision came from the Allahabad High Court that again the excavation should be carried out. So it was carried out under Dr. B.R. Mani, a great archaeologist. And it was now because earlier we had only 12 temple pillars, and now more than 50 temple pillars in 17 rows came out during the excavation of it.
I see.
Yeah. So that was a great achievement. That means there was a huge temple at that. It's not an ordinary temple, but a very huge temple. And that was the pillars. And then the pranala, that the temple pranala was there. Pranala means, I mean, every day we have to bathe the deity. And that Abhisheka Jala goes through a pranala. So that pranala, it was a Makara pranala. What is a Makara? Makara means crocodile. Crocodile in Hinduism, that is a symbol of river Ganga. You go to any North Indian temple, there, I mean, just before this one, Garbhagraha, on the right side, there will be a lady standing on Magara, that is a crocodile. And on the left side, there will be another lady with a pitcher standing on a tortoise. So the crocodile is river Ganga and the tortoise is river Yamuna, which means you are, before going to the Lord, you are having a symbolic bath both in Ganga, Yamuna, and the underground Saraswati. And then after being, I mean, purified, you are going to the Lord. So that is the concept. So that Magara Pranala was also excavated. So the Magara Pranala, you cannot have it in a mosque. You can never have it in a mosque. And also, you cannot have it from a bazaar area. You cannot have it from a residential area. It could be only from a temple area. Then we had a number of temple. One is this Amalka.
Yes.
Amalka is just below the Kalasha.
Yes.
I mean, on the crowning portion of a temple in North India, that is, I mean, Kalasha would be there, and just below that, Amalka would be there, and then the Shikara portion also. So this Amalka was also excavated by Dr. B.R. Mani and his group. And then again, a number of temple parts of the Shigara portion of the temple that was also excavated.
Right.
And then more than 263 terracotta idols were excavated.
Yes.
Smaller. And in that, I mean, even lady figures are there. If it
Yes.
had been a mosque area, you would never have
Yeah,
got anything like that.
that's
Yeah.
right.
And then horses, dogs. Had it been a Muslim area, I mean, you would never have got dogs and other things. But more than 263.
Yes, that's
So
right.
these are the evidences which was excavated by all these people, and it was on the basis of that. People said that Muslims should willingly hand it over, and many Muslims were ready to hand it over also.
Right.
But by Irfan Habib and the communist lobby of Aligarh Muslim University, they created the problem. Otherwise, a good section of the Muslim community was ready to hand it over so that the problem could be solved.
Yes, that's right.
But these people, they created the problem not only among Muslims, even among the Hindu intellectuals also. And
Yes.
they divided the society. And
Yes.
some of the English newspapers, they
Yeah.
supported them in that one.
Well, was this investigation concluded in your that 1976-77, which was started? Was it concluded, or it was stopped in the middle due to certain circumstances?
No, that I don't know, because it was Professor B.B. Lal, because
Yes.
then because after the excavation we all went to
Oh,
different
went away,
places.
okay.
Yeah. It was
Okay.
Professor B.B. Lal, because he is the doyen of
Yeah.
archaeologists.
Yeah,
So
okay.
it was he who had carried out. So
Yeah.
we were not connected with this one.
Yes, okay. Now I have another question.
Yeah.
When Chandrasekhar became Prime Minister, I was the senior most minister. Also, I had the law portfolio.
Sir.
And earlier on, when I was General Secretary of the Janata Party, Shahabuddin was also General Secretary of Janata Party.
Yes.
And later on, Shahabuddin became the Babri Masjid Action Committee chairman.
Yes.
And so Chandrasekhar said he is Shahabuddin and you are friends, you try and see if you can work out a compromise. Shahabuddin told me, and this is recorded in the white paper, that if you can show that there is any evidence of a pre-existing temple, then we Muslims cannot build a masjid on top of it.
Yes.
And on somebody else's prayer place, we don't build masjids.
Yes.
So I myself will go and demolish the masjid.
Wow.
But then this demolition of by the mob of Babri Masjid, Shahabuddin then said, now I'm not going to stick to my promise.
Achha.
But now that things have long years have passed, would you say it's correct to say, because what the Supreme Court has said in the Ismail Faruqi judgment, that constitutional bench judgment is that mosque is not an essential part of the religion of Islam, because it is a place to read namaz, and namaz can be read anywhere, including in your drawing room, on the streets, and so on. So there's nothing, unlike the temple, which is because of prana pratishta puja, the deity is in fact the god. The god has entered that deity. So once our Hindus believe that once prana pratishta puja has been done, you can't demolish a temple. But in the case of a mosque, it can be done. And I find from going to Google search that countries after countries who are Muslim countries, they're regularly demolishing mosques. The Turkey president, he had said one day that when it was the newspaper, people asked him, why is demolishing so mosque? He says building highways is more important for the country than having mosque will be built somewhere else. So same thing in Saudi Arabia. They have, in fact, even in Makkah, what was built.
Jagdish, we seem to have lost him.
Dr. Swamy was referring to the Bilal Mosque in Mr. Muhammad. Dr. Swamy referring to Bilal Mosque in Makkah, where it was removed or demolished to make way for some public utility building. So perhaps Dr. Swamy's question was, what is your impression or take on this, that mosque can be shifted or demolished as per the needs of modern society? Perhaps his question was around that.
I cannot say anything about what is the rules and regulations of Islam on this particular issue. But at the same time, my general principle is whether it is a temple or it is a mosque or it is a church, whatever it is, whenever a public utility comes, you can transplant the whole thing from one place to another place. Even in the case of a historical monument, I had transplanted 2 temples. One is in Kurdi, Mahadev temple, that is a Shiva temple, from its origin to a place of 20 kilometers away from that. And similarly, at Omkareshwar, another Vishnu temple had transplanted from its original place to a distance of 5 kilometers. So whether it is a temple or a mosque, or it is a church, whatever it is, or any kind of structures, if a public utility comes, then we'll have to shift them from that place to another convenient place. There should not be any problem for any community on that issue. And I think even now in Benares also the same kind of work is going on, because you have to have that Vishwanath corridor. I mean many structures are being demolished. So there are some kind of temples also in that group. So it should not be either particularly for the temple or for a mosque or a church, whatever it is there, for a public cause, we'll have to remove them or we can transplant them. And as far as Sayyid Shahabuddin Sahib is there, I had a lot of discussion with him. And he had invited me also, and I went to his house in Patna because he has got some relation. So he invited me. Then I had a lot of discussion. I told him all these historical details, and then I wrote him a letter also. Before that, I wrote him a letter that you are the Muslim community leader. You are a highly educated leader and a highly, important official also once upon a time. So you please take initiative in solving this problem. Solving means, by handing over to Hindu community, that's all. So, because I had taken one strong step when Jawahar Prasad, he was a BJP MLA.
Yes.
And when he engrossed upon this one, Sher Shah Suri's tomb, then I took a very strong stand. I got it stopped also. So then he wrote a letter to Anand Kumarji. Anand Kumarji was the Minister of Culture at that time, appreciating the step of Archaeological Survey of India.
Yes.
He did not know that it was me who had done it. Then that letter was forwarded to Director General of Archaeological Survey of India, and then ultimately to me also. And then I gave him a reply. It was in that reply I had said that I had participated in that excavation and I had seen the temple remains also. And then also I said that it is as important for Hindus as Makkah and Medina are for Muslims.
Yes. You said that.
Yes. And in that way, this article also, small article in Indian Express also.
Yes.
And it is as important as...
Even the Times of India has it.
Yes. So the Muslims should willingly hand it over. So again, many Muslims were ready, but this communist historians of Irfan Habib and this group, they, and along with the press, 2 English press people, they, damage the entire thing. So otherwise, things would not have gone to this stage. Yes. So I had a long discussion with him, and he agreed also on various things. Right. But then, when he went back, he just wrote me a letter that his other followers, they don't agree to it.
Yes,
so that was his reply.
Dr. Swamy, this
yes,
second. Yeah, can you please connect that phone to your laptop so that even if it drops, I'll create a backup.
It is already connected.
Okay, it didn't show up. So anyway, you can proceed, Dr. Swamy. I'll take it.
Oh, I think maybe. Let me see.
Viewers, just bear with us. We're just trying to prevent any further drop in connections. Okay, just bear with us, please. Thank you.
Request our viewers to please bear with us because the weather conditions are not very conducive to Wi-Fi connection. Please bear with us.
I think my phone, because they have, yes, come. Yes. No, its battery is a little down. So, but anyway.
Okay, no problem. Okay, thank you.
Okay, now, See, you have. Let me ask you a very ticklish question now.
Dr. Swamy, 1 minute. Mr. Muhammad, we have lost Mr. Muhammad. Just a minute.
Okay. No, he's there. I can see him. Can you hear me, Mr. Muhammad?
Yes, I can hear you.
There you
Okay.
are. See, the tough question is that there have been very large number of mandirs which have been demolished and masjid built on it, and there are records of that. I'm not going into that because that's past history.
Yes, sir.
But of all the temples, I think we have a record of about 40,000. Only 3 we consider on the status of Makkah and Medina, as you mentioned. One is Ram Mandir, 2 is Kashi Vishwanath, and 3 is Krishna Janmabhoomi. Now, Kashi Vishwanath, there is a farman of Aurangzeb, and also you can see the masjid, a part of the temple is still part of the masjid itself. I don't know whether you have ever been to Kashi Vishwanath, is there. So I say why this principle should not be applied, that if there is a pre-existing temple which was demolished, then as a gesture for a future Hindu-Muslim unity to be strengthened, why should the Muslim community agree to Kashi Vishwanath and the Mathura Janmabhoomi of Krishna and then put a stop to it? Now, Narasimha Rao had said that after Ram Mandir, nothing after 1947, if in 1947 any of the religious structures are there, they can't be changed. But that act, you see, cannot supersede fundamental rights. Because Kashi Vishwanath is, it's a Jyotirling which Lord Shiva himself planted there. And as far as Krishna is concerned, Krishna Janmabhoomi, he was born there. So it's a fundamental right for me to pray where faith tells me Krishna was born. So if these 2 temples also could be freed on the same principle on which we argued, and it has been upheld by the Supreme Court, that on the matter of faith, where fundamental rights are connected, it supersedes all other language, because all that Waqf boards are doing in arguments is saying this is our property. They are not even saying that we want to rebuild a masjid in this whole Ram Mandir matter. So how do you react to this, that to close the entire chapter of the violence of the past and move on together as Indians, these 2 also should be given away. And of course, we all appreciate that after the Supreme Court judgment, people have predicted there will be riots in the country, there will be killing, this, that. Nothing of the kind happened. And the Muslims willingly accepted the judgment of the Supreme Court. That's a great contribution to our national unity. And this would then complete the picture. What is your reaction to this?
Sir, this is the toughest question. But for me, I mean, the question has been, I mean, the reply has already been given by RSS chief Mohan Bhagwatji. And he has made it very clear. So I am very in a very secure position. He has made it very clear that the whole chapter is closed. We are not going to take up the issue of any other temples.
Yes.
And the religious, so I mean, the Religious Act of 1990, even you know it better. So that act also says that I mean the cutoff year would be 1947, and no more any more temple. I mean the temple masjid issue. We are not going to deal with that one.
Yes.
So the cutoff year is 1947,
Yes.
except Babri Masjid.
Yes.
And I had this kind of discussion also with a number of Muslim community people.
Yes.
And they were also ready, because if it is only with this one, they were all ready. But I mean, Aligarh historians are there in order to misguide them,
Yeah.
So, so I think we should not take up other issues now.
Right.
But in case Muslims are ready, I know, because that Gyanvapi, because
Yes.
I have visited the place a number of times, and there are historical this reasons, evidences also. And Maasire Alangiri, it is very specifically written in that one about Mathura Mosque also, and I have got all the records with me. But the problem is, this should come from the Muslim community. They should willingly come.
Yes.
Hindus should not ask, but Muslims should willingly come up.
Yes.
Then that would be a great gesture. And I think many of the problem from which Muslim community is suffering, in case they come up, and that would be automatically solved.
Yes.
But Hindu community, they don't have any right at all. Let us take it. But that comes out from the Muslim community.
Yeah. Well, first of all, let me give some clarification.
Yes.
As far as RSS chief statement, they had from beginning said, we will only take up one temple.
Yes.
But they did not bar anyone else or express an opinion that anyone else takes it up. They will stand in the way.
Yeah.
But if anyone took the Ram temple, they will support it. So Ashok Singhal as Vishnu Parishad took it up. And then RSS put his full weight behind it.
Yes.
So if tomorrow I take up Kashi Vishwanath, RSS will not put his weight behind me.
Yes.
And I will not go by any demonstration, nothing.
Yeah.
Mine will be a pure legal operation.
Yes.
And I can tell you that Act will not stand in front of my fundamental rights to pray where Shiva himself has planted a Jyotirling or Krishna was born. All other temples I cannot bypass the 1991 Act saying that after 1947, nothing. I got nothing else of the 40,000 list people have given circulating a list. Nothing else can be touched. So I would think that the Muslim community, yes, they should, if they came forward themselves, will be ideal. But I certainly think that we are also not in a hurry to take law into our own hands and do it, and all that happened in the past. That is unfortunate, shouldn't have happened.
Yes.
But of course, the state has prosecuted those people. It may be like all other prosecutions going slow.
Sure.
So I would do it in a legal way. And I would then say I will continue to see if the Muslim community can be persuaded to agree. And this, after all, if you maintain that masjid is only a place to read namaz, it's not where Al-Aqsa, like Al-Aqsa, where Muhammad went to heaven from there. So it becomes a special one. Makkah, Medina becomes a special one. So the Makkah, Medina and Al-Aqsa, the only three which the Muslim clerics believe is holy for them.
Yes.
All others, governments, Muslim governments demolished. So this is something which needs to be done. So I would, your answer has already come, but I would think that somewhere we should start again, maybe ask all our sadhu sants and all your religious Muslim leaders to start discussing it. Even if we don't agree on the first round, then try second round, third round. And, in a sense, it is like Krishna offering Duryodhan, give 5 villages and then you can have both Indraprastha and Hastinapur.
Yes.
And he said, no, even the point of the needle I will not give. So, I don't want that kind of situation arise because I know the sentiment in our country.
Yes.
That these two, the Shaivites, you must know that Krishna and Rama are Vaishnavite. Although now we have reached the stage when they're all one.
Yes.
But the Shaivites also feel very strongly about Kashi Vishwanath. To the public that has come, that this should continue. So let's see whether Ramesh and Jagdish and Professor Chaturvedi have questions to ask of you.
Yeah, yes, Dr. Swamy. Yeah, this is more for a question for Muhammad Saab. In your book, where I have not read the Malayalam part.
It is in Hindi also. It is in Hindi. It is in Karnataka.
Yes.
This one is coming out. Yeah.
If it is in Tamil, I will read it. So anyway, Tamil or English. So the thing is, you have mentioned about how Irfan Sahib, kind of your interactions with him,
Yeah,
and saying,
yeah.
how he wanted to hide the thing.
Yeah.
Can you share us what transpired in that meeting between you and Irfan Sahib?
No, I was not having, because I was
About
not
Ibadat
having.
Khana or something,
Which
right? Or
meeting are you talking? Because
I think
no,
it's about Ibadat Khana.
I had a very, this one, a very bad relation with him right from my student days, because I was a free thinker. I did not belong to any particular gang. But he's not a communist also. He doesn't have any that communism is a great philosophy, a great revolutionary theory also. He's not that kind of communist also. He has got a group of people whom he wanted to promote, and they should be bonded intellectuals of him. That is his prime. And if anyone,
This is Irfan Khan you're talking about?
yes, I'm talking about.
Irfan Habib, I mean.
Yes.
Yes,
You're right. 100% correct.
Yeah.
I know him too.
Yeah. And if anyone thinks independently, then he would stifle him down. So I was one of those who fought against with it. At that time, BJP was with him. I'm talking about 1980 up to 1988. BJP was fully with him at that time. Yes. And I fought against him. I was alone, and there were very few people also. And ordinarily, you don't, if you are against him, then he will make you either a Hindu communalist, if you are a Hindu, if you have a Hindu name, and a Muslim communalist. So for them, I was a Muslim League at that time. He used to say that he's a Muslim League and all those things. So this is the kind of man he doesn't want anybody else to come out. And I made two very important discoveries at that time. It all because of he was against me personally. And the discovery was the discovery of Ibadat Khana, the place where Akbar had invited people from all the religion, Hindu, Muslim, Christians, and then ultimately he evolved a new religion known as Deen-e Ilahi. So that was the nursery of Indian secularism that I could discover, and a Christian chapel also, which was built by Akbar. So that, he could not tolerate. This man, he is going up, and ours is a discovery. In archaeology is a great discovery. And whereas a historian, he has got his own theories, philosophies, and other things. So we had a lot of differences, and I had a lot of differences with him. And he tried to suppress me, pull me down, but somehow he could not do all these things. Even now, he is against me, and he gives false statements also. Because to the Jamaat Islami people of Malayalam, he gave a statement that I had no association with Ayodhya at all. And he had given the same thing, not he, but another one of his proteges. He had given a statement in Times of India saying that I was not part of the excavation team undertaken by Professor V.B. Lal. Professor V.B. Lal was not here in India, so I had to contact him, in America, and then he gave a rebuttal.
Yes, that's right.
So this is the type of people. They can speak anything, it's a tissue of lies. And then they will come to Diwane Am in their Sherwani and Turkey Topi. Giving all this kind of lectures and other things about moral principles and other things. So this is the type of people. So I don't have any respect for him, although he taught me. And I say that I refuse to accept him as my teacher. I said that he has registered my presence and absence in my attendance register. So I don't have any relation also with him. So I had always a very bad relation with him.
Okay. So Jagdish, or
I have a question, Mr. Muhammad.
Yes, sir.
Was your knowledge of perhaps Hinduism and Sanskrit very useful in your archaeological and excavation work? Was it very useful for all these discoveries and research?
Yes, of course. The knowledge of Sanskrit, that comes out very handy for an archaeologist. For example, Dr. Saab said now, because about Shiva, Vishnu, and all those things. So in Tamil Nadu, sometimes there will be slight differences between Shivites and Vaishnavites. Because since I served in Tamil Nadu, I know that one. But when you come to North India, there is no difference at all. Shivaya Vishnu Namaya, Shiva Namaya Vishnuve, Shivasya Hridayam Vishnu, Vishnusya Hridayam Shiva. So that is the kind of attitude. So I mean, for this, I mean, all kinds of temples, and whether it is a temple or it is a this one, some other kind of structures. If you know, if you have the background of Sanskrit, that becomes very handy. It becomes very useful also. So I had that advantage. I knew a little bit of Sanskrit, not very good, but I had and especially my mother tongue Malayalam, it has got so many.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, a lot of Sanskrit words. So
Most
it is
of us.
easy for a Malayali to learn all these things.
Yes, that's true. Lot of.
I have another question for you.
Yeah.
What are the latest techniques used by the archaeological department when you do excavation and dating and all these type of things? Is there any latest equipment which are handy or come into existence which help these type of excavation of archaeological sites? If you get just tell our viewers, because
Yes.
interested in knowing from the time of excavation of Mohenjo-daro to present time, what are the advancements, if you can tell our viewers?
There are especially two types of dating. One we call relative dating. Relative dating means suppose you get a coin from a particular layer. Suppose it is a coin of Gupta. Then we will attribute that layer to Gupta period. And below that, suppose you get a coin of Mauryas or Mauryan, I mean this one, then we will be attributing that thing to Mauryan period. Or if it is an Akbari period, if Akbari coin, then we'll say that it is a Mughal layer. That is known as relative dating. And then you have an absolute dating, that is C14, which is well known once upon a time. But now people, they don't go for C14 dating also because there is, I mean, a lot of differences sometimes it would be there. So people now mostly go for TL dating, that is thermoluminescence dating. Mainly for the bricks, mainly for the pottery pieces and other things. It's very easy to date. For carbon 14 dating, you have to get some kind of this one. Either you have to get some wooden particles, or you have to get some bone particles.
Yes.
In this case, thermoluminescence dating, even on pottery will be available everywhere. On pottery sherds, you can make it. On bricks, you can make it. It depends upon the heating of that particular piece to make a pottery. And now OSL dating is also there. So there are a number of modern technologies now, on the basis of which, with some kind of errors, we can date the whole thing. So we are doing it very well. So there's a whole range of dating methods, and then the whole range of GPR surveys are also there, ground penetrating radar survey. And in this case also, sir, that Tojo Vikas, they carried out the GPR survey first, because communist historians said no, there are nothing there in when the mosque has been built on virgin land, which means there was no temple below this one. But then this Tocho Vikas, this is a Canadian company, they did the GPR survey. So ground penetrating survey. On the basis of when they carried out this ground penetrating survey, I mean, many anomalies were there. Anomalies means that you have got structures below that one. And when that excavation was carried out, you got more than that of 50 pillars and many other things also. And that way we could demolish that argument of these communist historians that it was built, it was not built on this one virgin land. Because their argument was it was on virgin land. But on the basis of this one, Tochovika survey, ground penetrating survey, it was established first, and then after the excavation also.
Right.
These are the techniques.
Yeah, the follow-up. Have you encountered any organic, basically DNA-based discovery in all your excavation, related to the mandir or anything like that? Because we've all seen pillars, stones, pottery, coins, etc.
Yeah.
But organic, have you come across any organic evidence?
The organic evidences are now very recent. The DNA testing, and about Harappan sites, some of the Harappan sites also. Recently, Deccan College, Pune, they have carried out certain this one experiments like this one, DNA testing. Dr. Shinde, Professor Vasant Shinde, he has carried out this kind of DNA testing. It's a very recent one. And then Dr. Tahir was, he was in Goa. There he could do some some similar kind of DNA testing on a Christian bone pieces, because there was a lady known as Katavan. She was from Georgia. She was, she was buried here, and then her remains were taken up by some of these people. And so, in order to prove whether it is a Georgian body or not, he got it carried out. This kind of DNA testing was carried out, and then it was completely proved. Yes, it belongs to that Georgian lady. So I did not carry out any kind of that.
No, but you couldn't find any organic matter when you excavated in Ram Mandir or any of the temple area yet, right? So far, you have not come across an organic matter, correct?
No, organic material is enough. Organic materials in the Dr. Dr. B.R. Mani's excavation, he could get a lot of pieces like this one, organic material. Organic mean it could be bone pieces also. It could be this one also. This one wooden pieces also, and a lot of things.
Arvind?
Yeah, Mr. Muhammad, I have 3 small questions.
Yeah.
2 are related to ASI and excavations. 1 is related to Ayodhya.
Yeah.
First, I'll ask about excavation. Recently, about a year back or so, there was an excavation done by ASI director called Mr. Manjul.
Yes.
In
Sanjay.
Sanoli in near Meerut.
Yes.
And he has come up with the conclusion that Mahabharata period is not 900 BC to 1000 BC, but it is 2000 BC to, so there was 1000-year gap. Now, one finding, one excavation changes our history dates by so much, so long a period. From 900 BC becomes 2000 BC. So what are the key findings which have led to this kind of change in the period, the estimation? 1. Second is similarly, ASI did one excavation, which is basically didn't come out with anything. In 2013, in Unnao district of Uttar Pradesh, the person was a Baba or a Sadhu who died very recently. I think last month only, during the lockdown period, he died in last month. Sobhan Sharkar. And he dreamt that there is a treasure in Sangrampur village, and ASI kept on doing this digging, excavation and all that, and did not come out with anything. You can decide what should be length of your answer. And my third question relates to Ayodhya. In the High Court judgment in Allahabad in 2010, Justice Sibagat Ullah Khan had mentioned there is a piece of 1500 yards land which is full of landmines, and nobody should touch that or whatever. So this is actually a confusion to me. When I was reading the judgment, I was not able to figure out what exactly is this piece of land which nobody wanted to claim. So these 3 questions, and you can decide the length of the answer.
I think I should answer the first question, that is of Dr. Sanjay Manjul. It is a spectacular discovery. A kind of, I should say that till this time, we know the history part of it. From the mythology also we know about chariots. Lot of discussions, because Lord Rama himself, he used to, go in the chariot, and that the Dasharatha's chariot.
Yes, horse-driven chariots have been found.
Yes, horse-driven chariots. And also the Krishna also, the whole Bhagavad Gita is, of course, from the chariot. So all we were talking about it, but we were not having any historical, archaeological proof for that one. So the excavation of Dr. Sanjay Manjul, it has completely changed our views about our own historical and archaeological part.
Absolutely.
Yes. So for the first time, he could prove, no, we were having chariots. And that is going back to 1800 BC. But he did not say that it goes to Mahabharata period. That he did not say. It is 1008 we had, but it is not Mahabharata period. Because in Mahabharata, because this in Mahabharata, because Hastinapura was the biggest center. Then we have Kurukshetra. Then we have Mathura. Then we have this one, Ahichatra. Ahichatra. Yes, yes, yes. Then the 5 villages, as Sir said, that
Right.
the Hatilpat, Bagpat, Sonipat, and all those things. But in any of this place, you don't have a history which goes back to more than 1400 BC.
Okay.
So that is the thing. So it has not been, he has not correlated with Mahabharata, but many people in their interpretation, they correlated. But
Media has created stories.
yeah. No,
According to the Puranas, the
Yes, yes.
Mahabharata war should be 3112.
102. Yes. But an archaeologist, he does not accept it. For him, this is 1400 BC. Because no, because he looks at it. I mean, because it was Dr. Again, Professor B.B. Lal. When he excavated Hastinapura, he correlated a flood material with a reference which was given in Vayu Purana. Gange Apahridaye Nagaram Nagarasakhaye Kyuktar Nijachur Nagaram Kaushambeyam Sanivatsayade. So he correlated with that one, and on the basis of the scientific evidence, again he said that it is 1200 or 300 BC. Any period in between that one, but not earlier to that one, because earlier to that one, even Hastinapura was not there. Earlier to that was Indraprastha was not there, Tilpat was not, Bagpat was not there, Barnava was not there, Kurukshetra was not there. So, I mean, sir may not agree, but we go only by archaeological deeds.
Sure. Well, maybe one more discovery will come and you'll change your mind.
Yes. By that time, we'll take it. Yeah.
Well, I think we have exhausted him by his very explicit, scholarly answer. Are you teaching by any chance anywhere archaeology, or you're?
No, people call me for often for this kind of lectures and other things. Otherwise, I don't take up any permanent position.
Because you're so clear and you're obviously been reading regularly, you're up to date, and it is your role dealing with these questions that we have posed to you. You have been excellent. I mean, we have really learned a lot. What does Jagdish say? Does he
What
have
about
any?
Ayodhya issue, that 1500 square land?
I don't know that. Yeah. I don't know what is that.
That was part of the High Court judgment, Allahabad High Court
I
judgment.
see.
Well, High Court judgment is not final.
Yeah, yes, that is final.
Arvind, you can.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. K.K. Muhammed, and thank you, Dr. Swamy, for it's such an important discussion on a topic which is very dear to people's heart. And we also talked about excavation in general, and such a vast knowledge Mr. Muhammad has. We are thankful for him to appear in the program and throw light on such an important issue. Thank you very much. Thanks to my co-host, Mr. Jagdish Shetty, Mr. Ramesh Swamy, and our technical team, led by Ashish Shetty. Tomorrow at the 8 p.m. at the 8 p.m. IST, the same regular time, we are going to have a discussion with 2 office bearers of Virat Hindustan Sangam. First one is Dr. Firmi Bodo, who is an assistant professor in JNU, and we are going to have a discussion on with Dr. Swamy on the topic Northeast India issues and challenges. And second one is with Dr. Ajay P. Sankhe, who is the president of the Maharashtra State Virat Hindustan Sangam, and he is a doctor, and he is very deeply involved in this COVID-19 within hospital in Mira Road, Bhayandar, and he is going to talk about the ground realities of COVID-19. So to the viewers, announcing this, that tomorrow Dr. Swamy will be back at 8 p.m. IST with 2 of the experts from the Virat Hindustan Sangam to discuss these 2 topics. And thanking once again our guest, Mr. K.K. Muhammed, and our mentor, Dr. Subramanian Swamy, for today's discussion. Thank you very much. Namaskar. Jai Hind.
Jai.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam.